By the way, I was at a very interesting protest this weekend. I haven't been to any protests since I've been back in Israel for 4 months now. But this one was in a Arab Israeli town called Sahnin. But they do overwhelmingly identify as Palestinian. So it's probably more correct to call them Palestinian citizen of Israel. It's an interesting identity, right? 20% of Israel's citizens are Arab/Palestinian, and they have a variety of different ways they describe their identity. And for them, their identity also shifts depending on who they're speaking to. So Jewish Israelis will consider this segment of the population as Israeli Arab. They view them as distinct from Palestinians, generally speaking. Most Israeli Arabs, though, do have some identification with Palestinian identity. Some will consider themselves Palestinian citizens of Israel. Some will not have any Israeli identification. And by identification, I'm not meaning like an ID card. They do have Israeli ID, but how they identify, like they don't feel Israeli, they feel Palestinian. And others will say, no, I'm just Israeli Arab. I'm not Palestinian at all. And a lot of this depends on the individual, but it also depends on the community. Some communities are way more pro-Israel, others are a little bit more pro-Palestine. But they're also often not, the way they identify to fellow Jewish Israelis is often Aravi Israeli, Israeli Arab, because it's more comfortable to identify that way. But amongst each other, when they're traveling to other countries, they'll often say they're Palestinian. The reason I know this is because I often ask them and get a sense of how they identify. Like I was talking to this guy in Nazareth. I'm like, are you Israeli or Palestinian? He's like, no, I'm Israeli. I'm like, so you're not Palestinian? He's like, no, of course I'm Palestinian. It was kind of funny. So anyways, I was in, oh wait, one more, since we're already talking about the identity. I was in, my taxi driver was Arab, and I said, do you identify as Israeli or Palestinian? He said, neither. I said, what do you mean neither? So how do you identify? He says, just a Sunni Muslim. I said, interesting. And what would you like to see as a solution for the land of Israel and Palestine? He said, I just want to be able to turn on my car and drive to Saudi Arabia without any borders or any checkpoints. That's my goal. That was interesting. That's kind of like an Ottoman era solution, it seems, but I've never heard that before. So there's many different identities here in the Arab/Palestinian demographic.